Hey everybody, this is Craig Cottle, Director of Nature Reliance School, and we're coming at you again today for the Dance Plan course, and we're going to be taking a look at some self-defense considerations. We've talked about this briefly, mostly from an academic, analytical perspective where we're just considering things on a board, but today we're going to look at some physical manifestation of some of those considerations, as well as we're going to talk about a lot of combative strategies and stuff of that nature. So glad you joined us. The inside of each of these
waiting on word from city or state officials to see what's going on, what they can tell us.
First and foremost, what we want to do is make sure that we follow up with what we talked about last week. Last week, we started back on the track of giving stuff away, so that's pretty cool. So Jesse, I'm not going to say your last name on camera here, but Jesse, you're the random winner for last week. So I believe Jesse's already sent me his email address, or I mean a snail mail address. So Jesse, I'll be sending something out to you, and you asked me about morale patches for Nature Reliance School. I'll put one of those in there as well. So really appreciate you following us, Jesse. And I just ask if you could, if you like what you see and you've been enjoying some of the classes, then just recommend the classes to other people, and we really appreciate you doing that. Now, with that said, we've got another giveaway that we're going to do. We'll probably get into doing this every week. I think I've got a few items that'll make it easier for me to be able to give stuff away. I've got the shipping set up and all that good stuff, so that's a benefit. And what we're also going to do is we've got so many of you all that are both Dan's Plan subscribers as well as Nature Reliance School online subscribers, that what we're going to do is in the first webinar, like the one we're doing right now, is we're going to talk about some fundamentals. So if you're only a Dan's Plan course subscriber, we're just asking you to consider subscribing into Nature Reliance School as well. But in the Dan's Plan course, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss some of the fundamentals of self-defense. And then in Nature Reliance School, because it's a premium membership, if you will, we're going to dig into some more of the details of self-defense and combative strategy. So we really appreciate everybody that's a subscriber both at Dan's Plan and the Nature Reliance School as well. So with all that said, we'll have some words to talk about on, or some considerations that when we get done with this lesson on how to get in on the next giveaway. So make sure you get in on that giveaway at the end of this video, and we appreciate you watching. Now, if you notice, what I've been doing is I have been trying to make the giveaway such that you have to watch the video. That's by design. I'm sure you figured that out. Most of the things that we do in social media and stuff of that nature in Dan's Plan, all you got to do is to check out the Dan's Plan Facebook page, and you got to like and share and comment, stuff like that, which helps get exposure for Dan's Plan, or Dan's Depot. But what we want to make sure that we do, and this is one of the things that I asked the crew at Dan's Depot if we can make sure we do, is we make sure that people are getting educated, because it's really important. Because you can get all the gear that you want. You can get the coolest knife, coolest bag, all that stuff. And if you don't have the knowledge how to use it, then it's basically all for naught. And so basically every time I do something where I'm going to give something away on these webinars, I'm in essence requiring you to study and understand some things. It's a half-hour lessons. It's not that long. And if we continue to do what we're doing, we're educating a lot of people. Man, there have been a lot of people joining Nature Reliance School online as well as Dan Plan's course. And so we're doing everything we can to help everybody get educated. So pay attention for the whole video, because I'll say something in the middle of this video and then I'll ask you about it at the end so that you can get in on the giveaway. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your motivation for self-defense in any given survival emergency preparedness situation. Most of the motivation comes from the fact that somebody's trying to harm you. And so as we've talked about before, you can, and we've done this on our martial arts YouTube page. You can go there. It's Bluegrass Budokai, and I've got a real good lesson on avoidance and awareness, but I've talked about that in the Dan's Plan course as well. Avoidance and awareness is the key to making sure that you're doing what you can to defend yourself without ever having to throw the first blow, shoot the first gun, pull out the first knife, or anything. So make sure that your motivation is in proper order. If you're the type of person where you're going out and you're looking for a fight and you want to boom, boom, you want to get into a fight or something of that nature, then you're going to find one. And at some point in time, you're going to find yourself on the losing end of that battle. So make sure that when you get involved in training for self-defense and combatives and stuff of that nature, that you understand what your proper motivation is. Now, these things come in a lot of different terms. So you have self-defense, combatives, you have defensive tactics, you have offensive tactics, and in essence, they're very different, but they're all the same. And basically what it is somebody's trying to harm you and you don't want to get harmed, and you sometimes have to harm somebody back to get what you need done. So defensive tactics is a term primarily utilized by law enforcement. Law enforcement and corrections officers are under this duty that once they take you under arrest, they're responsible for you. And so everything that they're doing up to that point, in theory, and in most cases, you've got bad apples in every facet of life. Basically, in most cases, is defensive in nature. And so basically what they're doing is doing everything they can to go home at night. So with that said, you want to make sure that you have proper motivation so that you are not just going out and in essence just throwing blows just for the heck of it. So your daily outlook is going to play a huge role in how this plays out. Your daily outlook should be of one of, and I know this sounds kooky and corny, but your daily outlook, from my particular opinion, is be one of peace and not one of war. Now, if war visits me, then by golly, I'm going to deliver it back to you, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But your daily outlook should be one that when you go about your life, when you go to work, when you go to school, when you're home taking care of the kids and all these different things, you're trying your best to create a peaceful atmosphere wherever it is you might be. Because if you're not, then you're not avoiding the fight, if you follow me. I hope you follow me on that. And so the more offensive I am, the more I run my mouth, the more I gab at people, the more I challenge people or demean people, the more I am bringing a fight to me. And so what I want to do with my words and my actions is do everything I can to keep that fight from wanting to visit me, but rather I want to stay away from that as best I can. So this is where it's going to come into play, and it's what I refer to as seizing the initiative. All right, so let's say that you've done everything that I just told you to do. You've done everything that you possibly can to, in essence, make your life as peaceful as you possibly can. However, violence determines that it's going to visit you. You walk out of your workplace and for some reason you run into a fight. Like just as I was getting ready to start this video, I went down the street to grab me a bottle of water. I wanted a cold bottle of water, and all I have here at our dojo is just room temperature water. So went down the street, got me a bottle of water, and in the midst of the parking lot behind the dojo here is basically two men that are going after one another over some woman kind of thing. You know how this goes. And so in that particular case, there was a whole lot of posturing. Okay? What I mean by posturing is, you know, in the animal world, when people are going to, or when animals are going to fight, and humans are animals, and so you'll see this posturing where everybody goes back and forth, and in essence, basically, it's like who's got the bigger chest, who can shove who the hardest, who can slap somebody the first, and all these different posturing mechanisms that are what, in essence, flip the switch on somebody to start a fight. Now, what happens in a fight, and what we would recommend to you, is that when you're getting in this situation and you feel and you see that this posturing is going on, there's some things that you can recognize to know that it's getting out of control. And here's where a good psychologist recommended me to look at and how to consider these processes is basically, let's assume that you are a person and you're starting to get on a roller coaster. You go up the roller coaster. You go up that first hill. When you go up that first hill, it starts to plane out. And then after it planes out on top of the hill, it gets out of control. And sometimes when it gets out of control, it just goes zoom and goes right back down the hill, right? So sometimes you you're building up that, you're building up the power to get up to the top of the hill. Once you get to the top of the hill, it then goes off the hill, and then it does these big spirals, and it goes upside down and any number of things. Well, human behavior is the same way. So in essence, what's going to happen is, there goes my phone. So what's going to happen, hang on just a second. Hey, I'm back. I told you before, I'm trying to figure out a way to do a better job of keeping up with time. And so I've got my timer set so every 10 minutes it goes off and it lets me know, hey, I'm getting close to 10, 20, 30 minutes. All right, now, with that said, you get on this roller coaster ride and when you go over that hill, it starts to get out of control. Human behavior works the same way. So let's say it's these two people when they're starting to posture, all right? So when they're starting to posture up, you're going up that hill. Everybody knows that this is going towards a confrontation. In essence, what you can do is you can stop that roller coaster on the hill and get off. That's where these people are posturing up. And if you continue to allow that posturing to occur, then eventually you're both going to go up the hill, and then when it gets into that shoving match or that first blow or whatever it might be, then everybody has gone over the hill and it's out of control. Okay, that's where you start seeing bodies flying and people doing acrobatic type things in these fights if they're untrained. And all these acrobatic type things that they do are the result of the roller coaster going over the hill and it being out of control. Wham! I mean, you can see if you watch fights on YouTube, which I do on occasionally, not for the joy of it, but rather for the research of it, if nothing else. You'll see these people that are doing all these things. I mean, somebody picks them up, slams them on the ground, then they get back up. Your average ordinary human can't do that. And so there's a lot of things that occur there physiologically that allow a person to have, in essence, I'm going to say it this way, it's not true though, superhuman strength or superhuman athletic abilities, things that they don't normally have the ability to do. And we may talk about that a little bit later, all right? Now, with that said, once it goes over and everybody's out of control, that's when everybody starts getting hurt. Or if you're untrained, that's when everybody starts getting hurt. So this is how I want to recommend to you, if you see that you're going up that roller coaster ride and it is 100% unavoidable with verbal de-escalation skills, what you need to do. All right, so it sounds most certainly counterintuitive, and that is that this fun-loving, peaceful, woodsy guy, Craig, who's been teaching martial arts, and I've been teaching people how to do combatives and defensive tactics for over 20 years now. Again, peace is the answer. So that's my first choice, is peace. Any true warrior, from my perspective, always seeks the peaceful resolution if at all possible. And if the peaceful resolution is not possible, then you need to have, and this is where it goes from being real nice and pretty and all that cute stuff to 180 degrees, okay? If the peaceful resolution doesn't occur, which usually refers to you using, again, verbal de-escalation skills, then you need to have an overwhelming level of violence that starts and doesn't stop until the threat is neutralized. Whether that is with hand-to-hand combat, whether it's with a handgun, a stick, a rifle, a bat, a salt shaker, or whatever else is handy that you can pick up to defend yourself, when that roller coaster goes up the hill and you realize that, hey, we've topped the hill, we're getting ready to go over the hill. When you've gone too far and everybody starts, you get to that point, don't let the roller coaster go over the hill together with the other person, okay? When you get to 9/10 of the way up the hill and you realize you're starting to crest, you realize and you feel and you sense in the sense of that altercation that it's getting ready to go over the hill, then you need to start delivering as many blows and as much violence as you possibly can to win that fight. And from a physical perspective and a mindset perspective, I'm going to explain why in significant detail here shortly. So this is the way your body works, okay? And these statistics vary depending upon who you're talking to. And I've researched and studied these things for years now, and I can't seem to come to, it's not me, because I'm not one who studies and has all the connecting points and all the different ways of gathering data on the human body. But this is in essence how it works. Let's say you and I get in a fight, and let's say you're the bad guy, and I'm going to defend myself, okay? We'll talk in a minute about some postures and things to do that nature. If you come at me and we're getting ready to get in a fight, and I do the whole Hollywood wham, and I hit you upside the head, all right? I give you a good hook, I give you a good uppercut, or I shove you or something of that nature, and it's on, okay? It's on. Let's say I'm a moderately healthy person, all right? I do a lot of exercise. I'm still considerably overweight, although I'm getting better, so I appreciate everybody that's been sending me notes of encouragement. Thank you for that. So what I want you to do is realize that when that occurs, okay, you have somewhere around 12 to 15 seconds of your strength, your total 100% strength available to you. That's 12 to 15 seconds. Because this is what happens to you. Let's say you go from 0 to 100. Bam, 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 we're getting in a fight. Let's say, again, you're the bad guy and you're coming after me. I go wham, wham, and I'm getting in this fight and we're starting to deal with each other and I'm trying to lick blows and hit you and you're hitting me on occasion and all this stuff is going down. In that 12 to 15 second mark, here's the clock, that 12 to 15 second mark is when I have full strength. But because, unless I'm a trained individual, but because I'm not a trained individual, and let's say I'm not incredibly healthy, what happens at about 12 seconds or 15 seconds in is that I am not getting the proper amount of oxygen to my bloodstream because I haven't done what we're discussing under stress, okay? So stress inoculation is very important. So what happens is about 12 to 15 seconds, you drop to about 80% of your strength. So for example, I can lift 100 pounds. Boom, I can lift 100 pounds, no problem. If I get in a fight, boom, 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 and it's 100 miles an hour, at about 12 to 15 seconds in, I'm only going to be able to lift about 80 pounds. I'm not as strong as I used to be. And then as that clock keeps ticking, your strength continues to dwindle. And so that's why if we're getting ready to go over the hill of the roller coaster, what I want you to do is start delivering blows, boom, boom, and the blows and how to deliver them is what I'm going to discuss and demonstrate on this big pad behind me in the Nature Reliance School class today. Again, I appreciate all you all that are members of Dan's Depot course, the Dan's Plan course, as well as Nature Reliance School. It makes it easy for me to do this video here and then just add to it in the second one. So if you're not in the Nature Reliance School, jump in there. All right, so with that said, what I want you to do is start delivering these blows, boom, boom, as hard as you can go. Because your intent or your hope is in that 12 to 15 seconds when you have full strength that you give them everything you got with the intent of delivering violence of action as hard and as fast as you can go in a way that you hope, and you not necessarily hope, but if you train for it, you can inflict as much damage, hopefully, on vulnerable areas of the body that makes that one person to either stop or you knock them unconscious, or if it's a worst case scenario, you have to kill somebody, okay? So that's why we're delivering such a violence of action. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take an opportunity to demonstrate some things in this, along this line of showing you how you're in a discussion, everything's going great, and then all of a sudden it starts to escalate and starts to go up that hill, and how I would handle my body language in that particular situation. All right, so here's going to be the answer to the question I'm going to ask at the end so you can get something free. See this Japanese writing in the back? I'm a teacher of Japanese martial arts, Aikido and Judo. I have advanced black belts in both, and so I've been doing both for over 20 years now. One of the things that we have as part of our dojo here, and what a lot of Japanese martial arts have, is they'll have something in the front that means a lot. So it means a lot to that particular facility. This means a lot to me, and it means interrelatedness. Remember that word, interrelatedness. So basically, in essence, in our dojo, what that means is that I, as a teacher, can't be teaching much of anything if I don't have students. Okay, so I need them. And the students can learn okay on their own and by themselves, but they learn in a lot more efficient manner if I'm there. So the students need me, and I need the students. We're interrelated, we're interconnected. And so that's what that means. So that's going to be your answer to your question at the end of this video. Now, with that said, here's what I want to get into in the next portion. I've expanded the, can you all see? Yeah, there it is. So I've expanded the camera out so you can see a little bit. So here I am, and I don't have pockets. Let's pretend I've got pockets. All right, I got my hands in my pockets. I'm standing around talking to somebody that I know. This is me. So I'm here, I've got my hands in my pockets because the person that's around me is somebody I trust. And what I mean by trust is it's somebody that I know that I can trust. It's not a questionable thing. It's not somebody that I kind of have in the back of my mind that I don't trust them. I trust them. Probably somebody like my family, like my son, my daughter, something of that nature. The people that are really close to me, the instructors at Nature Reliance School, Tracy Trimble, Kevin Shannon, these guys. These are the guys that I trust. The guys here in my dojo, most of them, I trust with my life. I trust my family with them. And so when I'm sitting around talking to them, I got my hands in my pocket because I don't have to be concerned with them. All right? Now, moving on up, let's say that somebody comes and joins the conversation. And it's somebody that I either distrust or it's somebody I just don't know, and it's not that I distrust them, it's just that I don't trust them. Not in a bad sense, it's just that I don't know them, okay? Somebody doesn't automatically earn my trust anymore. And I don't feel like they should earn your trust either. Not that you're walking around paranoid, it's just that they haven't earned my trust. And so, if they haven't earned my trust, I might be friendly with them, I'm talking, but my hands are out of my pockets, all right? So in this regard, if something were to go down, somebody starts to get aggressive, then I'm ready, okay? I'm also, as far as my stance, hanging out with my friends, I might be leaned up against the wall or something. I might be sitting down, something of that nature. But when somebody that I don't know, and again, somebody either that I distrust or somebody that I don't have enough knowledge on and experience with that I don't trust them, then I'm going to get to my feet, if at all possible. And I'm going to be standing at the ready. I'm not going to be just rocking my heels and stuff like that. I'm going to have, in essence, as best I can, a stance so I don't get rocked back on my heels real quick. I can move pretty easily. So in this regard, basically what I'm going to do is have 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. And that way I can move pretty easily off the X, which is basically moving. If somebody wants to hit me in the face, I don't stand there here and try to block it. I move first. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Stepping it up next. All right, so I'm in the midst of this conversation with somebody and somebody inserts themselves in the conversation or somebody comes in close proximity to me and for some reason it just doesn't feel right. Then I might do something where I have my hands up, okay? Because in essence what I'm doing here is I'm starting to get to the point where I want to make sure that my computer is taken good care of. My computer's my head. If my computer gets shut down, the rest of me gets shut down. I can take a pretty serious blow to the arm, the body, the legs, the back. However, if I take a considerable blow to my head, then there's a good chance that either I'm not going to be able to see things very well or I might even be knocked unconscious. And so from a pure stance perspective, I start to get my hands up. Not that they're crossed, but my hands are real close to my body and it's real easy for me to get my hands up and protect myself if somebody started to bring blows to me. Now, in that regard, the next step in this is what I call the thinking man's game. And so it starts to really concern me. So now I've already got my hand absolutely as close to my face as I can without walking around like this, okay? Because walking around like this is going to invite a fight. And so I'm saying, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. Could you please just back up for a moment? Thanks, I really appreciate it. And so as I'm talking to this person, I've got my hand up around my chin, again, like a thinking man. And in this manner, my hands are close to my head. At the same time, just a simple switch of my feet, and then I'm ready to deliver the blows that might be the things that I need to defend myself. Again, just simple protection because, hey, everything's good. Everything's getting escalated, and while everything's good, I can just be here, hey, what's up, how you doing? But as things start to escalate, I want to be ready. Now, taking it one step further, it's getting to be in an altercation, and I want to keep that person off of me, okay? So I don't just stand here and wait till somebody hits me. I want to start moving off the X. I want to start moving, and I want to keep something out in front of me so I can push and shove people off of me if I get surprised, okay? In that manner, what I'm doing is I'm doing everything I can to keep that distance, because if you get up in my face like I'm coming up in your face right now, and I'm up on you and I'm barking at you and stuff like that, it's too late. If you let somebody get that close to you, then it is way too late for you to be able to defend yourself. That's where the sucker punches come in. That is why, again, and I'm not saying I do this for pleasure, if you watch fights on YouTube and how they go down, you'll see people all the time get up and you just mouth each other. Wham, 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 wham. They mouth each other and then somebody gets sucker punched. If somebody's going to walk up on me in that manner, I'm going to do my best to keep them off of me. And I'm not going to stay. I'm not going to stand there and stand my ground, throw my neck out there, be all puffing up. I'm going to move off the X and move off where the fight was beginning to occur. And then if they continue to come, I'm probably going to do everything I can to start attacking them to defend myself, okay? When I say attacking, not on the offensive measure at this point, just in my mind, they are the aggressor. And as the aggressor, I am the defender. Because they are aggressing me, I'm defending myself, and so I decide when and where it's going to go down, okay? So if you're the aggressor and you're barking at me, yapping your jaws, you're not using verbal de-escalation strategy, you're using offensive strategies, then it might be the time for you to start, if you're coming at me and doing that, it might be time for me to start to defend myself. So again, those are the postures. Here we are, hands in our pockets. Everything's cool. Somebody I don't know, they're around, my hands are out of my pockets. Everything's getting a little bit close to where it's getting concerning to me. My hands are up near my face, and now I'm backing up and I'm moving. You need to stay off of me. And so in that manner, basically just with my posture, I have gone through the measures and the steps that I need to be able to keep somebody off of me. All right, so as a summary, this is what I want you to get out of this lesson, and that is fights, altercations, verbal confrontations are those that you want to do everything you can to be avoiding them whenever possible, and aware that there's going on so you can remove yourself from that situation. If you can't, and violence starts to deliver itself to you, whether that's a verbal strategy, somebody's being offensively argumentative to you, and they're aggressing you or something of that nature, then you want to recognize that roller coaster is going up the hill. When it gets to the point where it's getting ready to go over the hill, it hasn't gone over the hill. When it goes over the hill, everybody's involved, both parties, boom, boom, boom. What you need to do is that once that roller coaster gets ready to go over the hill, you need to be the aggressor, because it's going to happen. It's kind of like if the roller coaster hill is like this, and here's the roller coaster. Up until this point, everything's cool. We may be able to verbally de-escalate it. But once it goes here, it might even stop here momentarily and sit there. But this part of the roller coaster, it's going over. It's going to go over the edge, and it's going to happen. The fight's going to go down. When you realize that that's going down, and there's that momentary lapse of everybody in the situation is going, man, I don't want to do this, but they are doing it anyway, then you need to take immediate violence of action, overwhelming violence of action to defend yourself so that you can keep these fools off of you and you do not become the victim. All right, that's it for the dance plan course. Again, here's the question for you. I told you that Japanese writing behind me on the wall stands for something. It stands for something. What did I say that it stands for? One word. So what I need you to do is do this. If you know what that word is, then send me an email that says DPC, the date that is posted in the heading of this video, the headline of this video, give me that date, DPC, Dance Plan Course, the date, and tell me what that word means in the body of the email, and just go ahead and send me your address in case you are the winner. And I'll announce a winner next week for this week's prize, and whatever it is, I don't know. I'm going to keep doing that so it doesn't tie me down to giving up stuff and I have to do this. I can just go in and get something out of my box of goodies and I'll send it to you. Kind of makes it like Christmas, right? You'll be surprised. Trust me, I'm a survivalist prepper. I know a lot of good stuff. I know what people need. And so I'll send you stuff that either is fun, like a sticker from Nature Reliance School, or some fast fire or something of that nature. So maybe both. I don't know. But we'll be sending stuff out and making sure that we're doing everything that we keep everybody happy. Now, if you're interested, then please join us in the next webinar. What we're going to be doing in the Nature Reliance School is we've talked about mindset and basically postures. What we're going to be talking about in the lesson that follows this one in Nature Reliance School online is we're going to be taking a look at techniques and tactics. I'm going to tell you how to use your hands, your elbows, your knees, and your feet and your head. And I'm also going to go into some gear considerations. That's the way we teach survival. Mindset, tactics, and then gear. We'd also do the same thing in self-defense training. We're going to talk about mindset. That's what we just did. We're going to talk about techniques and tactics in the Nature Reliance School online. And then we're also going to talk about gear, including guns, knives, and stuff of that nature. So thanks for joining us. Come on, join in, and let's learn together. The inside
Waiting on word from city or state officials to see what's going on, what they can tell us right here.